nice to speak with you both.
Yes, same here.
Um, thank you. So, lots to talk about being a teen film that covers different aspects. You have the parents, family, school. Um, so, so if it's okay, we're going to discuss quite a bit all over the place.
Great.
For starters, there was a quote by Grace in the film, and it's kind of long, but I want your feedback on what it was for you as a teenager. What does it mean to be a teenager, having to meet parents' expectations, parents pressuring you to succeed, friends pressuring to do shit you don't want to do, social media pushes you to hate your body, hard for even a well-adjusted kid from a good family.
Mm.
Um, so, what do you take in that in your experience as a teenager?
Yeah, I agree. I'm an immigrant, Kara's first generation, and there's a lot of pressure, especially if you're an immigrant, because your parents work so hard to get to this country to perform. And even if they're not saying it, you feel that pressure. And so I relate to that when I was a teenager. Of it's not a constant pressure, but this kind of looming energy of like, you can't mess this up. That's hard for a teenager to take on that responsibility because you don't even know what that means because you can't see that far in your future. You don't know, you don't have perspective yet. So I relate to that definitely. And even the friends pressuring you. Because you don't have a full voice yet, you don't know what you like yet. And so you'll do things because you're like, maybe I'll like it. And then you do it and you go, I don't actually, that wasn't actually fun. And then, so how to create boundaries with friends and people who are around you is also something that you don't have those skills yet as a teenager.
Yeah. Wow, I totally identify with the fact of like being first generation American. Both of my parents are from Belize, Central America, and they both came here very, very young. But they have an incredible love story on top of just being incredible humans. But at the same time, I feel like that pressure of who they are has been like such influence on my life as to who they want me to be, who I am, and being an American woman, being born in this country and raised in this country, the world sort of tells you that you're something different than what your parents are telling you. And so like it's navigating all of the different worlds. Being a first generation American is like really navigating 7 different worlds, to be quite honest with you, and like adapting, constantly
Yeah,
adapting.
adapting.
Whew.
Um, so for your roles, I mean, you besides this, I mean, what we kind of like covered about you growing up being a teenager, but now it adds on to teenagers. I mean, you guys' roles were a little different, took a little more another aspect when you're playing a gay character. The lovely thing I've noticed now in these teen films is that there are more roles, saying that it's more open. How did you feel about playing these roles?
Great. I mean, it was great to be able to, law Kara's characters in the book, and I think she has a relationship in the book. But what's cool is it was in a different way, and it wasn't necessarily front and center. And what you see in this movie is you see an expansion of Law's character, so that she's not just a queer supporting sidekick to the main lead, that she has her own story. To be able to do that and be a part of that, and to know that queer kids will be watching it and will identify and will feel free because they're watching it and will feel like they can be themselves, that's a big deal.
Totally.
What's your take a little more in reference to this?
I feel like this kind of representation is so deeply important to the psyches of young brown queer people who will be watching this movie. I do feel like there's so many the beauty in this relationship between Cora and La is like there's 2 different sides to this story, and the way that it is weighed, they both come in such profound ways, their messages. And, you know, to talk a little bit about how Korra's journey is sort of the declaration of self, the declaration of like, what, this is what I want now, is so, it's a beautiful juxtaposition to La's feeling of like, I've been crushing on this girl so hard for so long, and I'm expressing myself in all of these very very potent ways so that I can understand exactly what I'm going through. And La, the representation of La is like this beautiful, unapologetically Black queer person who is a radical thinker and a creative and holds space and power. So the representation of these characters and the beautiful brown representation of this love, this brown queer love, I feel like is something that everybody can lean into if you're, even if you're white or other. Like this is, but it's a beautiful representation and it needs to be seen, and more stories like this need to be told.
Honestly, I wish there was a little more about you guys' character.
I know.
The movie was kind of like, oh, but then there was this little, you guys were like the little stars there that were like brightening the story of it.
Oh, yes. That's so nice. Thank you.
Welcome. That's my take.
No, we love to hear that. That's good to know. That makes us happy. We did our jobs. Yay.
So sweet.
For sure. Now tell me, what's the thing when you guys got the script? I mean, based on this story, based on a novel from Crystal Sutherland, what, Our Chemical Hearts? What was the one thing you enjoyed about the story?
We just got, I think Kara and I have yet to really fully read the book. We've read passages, mostly because when you're creating a movie, it's kind of good to not read the source material because you might limit yourself. So we, you know, what was really great about the script is that it was really collaborative. Richard called me, and Kara, I believe, spoke to him a bunch as well. He really wanted us to have a big part in creating the dialogue and creating these little moments in each character that makes them authentic and real. So the script changed a lot as we were filming because it became such a large collaborative process.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Richard was really keen on leading into all of the authenticity of what we were able to bring to these characters. And he wanted us to lean all the way in, which I feel like we did.
I hope so.
Ooh, I hope so too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I'm so sorry.
What was the one thing that you liked about the character, the story? But I think you answered it.
I think I answered that. Yeah, I love a lot about, I feel like this movie, this teen movie is, it seems like a lot of the adults that have watched it thus far, in speaking to you, like they have all leaned into wishing that this kind of narrative was around, you know, when we were growing up, or, you know, like that we were able to, you know, and there's a lot of that too, because it's like, I feel like the thing that I wished I had was to explore my sexuality in the ways that this narrative gives you permission to feel however you feel, and to just lean into that part, you know?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, you guys were awesome, and you guys were like that little sparkly star of the story, I have to say.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You guys, good luck and take care.
Thank you. You too.